and final video of this series, we will be installing a metal gate that goes from the arena out to the pasture. It is a 10-foot gate and 5-foot high mounted. We had to determine, first of all, where we wanted the top of the gate to be, which was about 5 feet. So to measure that, we measured up to the top, and then we had to measure where the bottom hinge was going to be, because it is a fixed hinge. The top one moves, but the bottom one does not. It's always good to double check your measurements just to get it right. So this 10-foot gate actually measures 9'6", but by the time you add about 3 inches for the hinge and just a little bit of room in between, you're probably looking at 10 feet in between your posts. So if you're putting your posts in, you want to make sure they are going to be the right distance apart. So these hinge bolts are 1 inch. So first thing I usually do is crank that first nut closest to the hinge right in tight to the hinge bracket where it's welded on there. That way I can get it as far in as I can, and then we can always adjust it back to make the gate level. So crank off the other nut and ready to install. Next thing to do is to find where your top hinge is going to be. Usually go about 3 feet apart, mark it. Next thing is to find your location on your posts where your hinges are going to be, where you're going to drill your holes. So usually about, like we said, 3 feet. Mark the bottom or the top, then put a level on there, roughly in the center of the post. And once you have that, mark the top and bottom. If you start plumb, you'll end plumb. So where your lines cross, horizontal and vertical, that's where you'll be drilling your hole for your hinges. In these pressure treated posts, we like to drill a pilot hole just because they're a little bit harder, and then it makes it easier to drill your 1 inch hole for your hinge bolts. Get out your 1 inch bit and drill your big holes. Now that you drilled your 2 1 inch holes, they should be nicely lined up top to bottom because you used your level. Now it's time to hang the gate. Usually set the bottom hinge bolt on first. Line up the top one roughly with the top hole. Sometimes they don't always cooperate, but you just have to line it up again. On these smaller gates like this 10-foot, you can pretty much do them yourself. You don't need any help to lift them. Before I install any nuts and tighten them, I like to put a level on there just to see how good we are. That's pretty close for a gate to the pasture. Next thing, get your washers and your nuts, tighten them up. Usually try to draw them as close as I can before I do any final adjustments to get the gate level. horizontally. You'll want to put your level on top of the gate. I don't have that in the video, just to know where you're at. Then you adjust these nuts accordingly till you get it level. Sometimes you have to move it out, sometimes you have to move it in. Once you got it where you want, snug it up tight, lock them in. There you go, put the level on again, plumb vertically, and horizontally. That's pretty close. Put your locking chain on and there you go. It's ready to go. 10-foot gate. Doesn't take very long. This is how we finished our 100 by 200 outdoor riding arena. The gate was the final piece. We have the angled corners. There's probably other ways to do it. This is how we did it, so hopefully it helps someone. And thanks for watching.